the Jim and Terry Show, coming to you from the Hobbit Hole Studio in Bobcaygeon. I'm one of your hosts, Terry, and with me in the studio, in the corner, not that he belongs there, unless he's been very bad.
Well, I'm full and stuffed. I'm Jim. Terry gave me, he had a pancake. He gave me like 5 or 6 of them, and I had to eat them. I mean, you know what?
Can't stare at him.
Well, you know, people, you don't want to offend anybody.
Well, we're following on the heels of a couple of things. We're going to do a forward-looking Father's Day, because that's coming up this weekend, but looking back on June 6th, 1944, the invasion of Europe by the Allies in an event we know as D-Day.
A do-or-die event.
It was. There's no coming back from
No
this
coming
one.
back. Either you succeed or you fail. That was
succeed
it.
or fail. There you go.
Yeah, and it kind of makes me sad to think about the attitudes of today, battling the aggressor now, who is Russia, and China wants to be these aggressors, and
what about terrorists, Hamas in there too?
Yeah,
I mean, what does battling for freedom mean to this generation?
Well, this generation, I don't know exactly, but here's what I think they're forgetting: that. Those battles were fought not only to liberate those countries, same as the battle to liberate Ukraine isn't just for Ukraine. It's to stop them so that you can have Canada, you can have America, you can have Britain, you can have free countries.
So that you don't have to worry about the war
coming
on
here.
North America. So.
Well, I mean, how much, people complain about, $50 billion. And well, how much do you think it's going to cost? And by the way, my fingers are crossed as a reminder. No, I'll let you remember. Right now in Havana, the Russians are docked. They have
with a nuclear
there.
sub.
Yeah, and a nuclear sub. Bringing the fight here, number one, would devastate the country. Do you want to look like Ukraine? It would devastate the country. It would kill an awful lot of young people and old people who just get in the way. And the cost would be trillions. So you have to ask yourself, do you really want that battle coming here? And so better fight it over there.
So D-Day is probably best known for the Tom Hanks movie Saving Private Ryan, a tale of siblings and rescuing the last surviving one to mitigate the mother's grief. But the story is also of the personal sacrifice of every single one who got off of those landing crafts or didn't, who fell into water that was over their heads and drowned because they couldn't get, they were weighed down with their gear, couldn't get out. I mean, it's a horrific enterprise that they ordered to go that day.
It was horrible. It was horrible. I don't believe my dad was in D-Day, but I know my dad was overseas almost 5 years fighting the war. Mm-hmm. He was in Italy, probably a few other places, England, obviously.
That's 5 years of fighting, of being relocated to this battle or that battle. 5 years he survived, which makes you a bit of a miracle.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here if he wasn't here. So
there you go.
Yeah, so, I'm grateful he got to come back. I wasn't born yet. My older brother and sister, they were there. And that's how my older brother got his name, Sarge.
Ah, okay.
My dad put his hat on him and said, "Hey, there you go, Sarge," something like that.
And that stuck.
And it stuck. That became his nickname.
Very cool. Well, you said a couple of things that I want to chase down. One, which is the battle for the first time really since World War II, is the battle now in Ukraine to get rid of the Russian aggression out of the provinces, the 4 territories that Russia claimed for themselves. And will it stop if Ukraine is successful in freeing those areas, those regions, including Crimea?
Well, it didn't stop when they took what they took.
No.
So Russia just went all of a sudden said, no, that's not good enough. We want the entire country. And they just want to take that country, and they want it for the resources. So that'd be like the United States saying, Canada, I'm sorry. There's only 40 million of you. We got 350 million here. You're now us.
Yeah.
Well, no, we're not. And we'd put up a little fight and do the best we could, and there'd be people dying all over the place, cities bombed. But then they would take it, and that would be it. So unless somebody defended us, and I wouldn't be Russia, So unless somebody came to defend us, we would fall under the tyranny of a dictator in the United States.
Who would that be?
Yeah, well, we don't need to go there, Bob. Stay on, please. Stay with us. Stay on.
Stay with us. Okay, so the battle to keep Europe free for the first time since World War II is being waged now in Ukraine, and we need to see that as the equivalence. That D-Day was that long ago, 80 years ago, and this battle is being waged now in Ukraine. And if we do not support Ukraine, then all those 80 years and all those deaths is for nothing.
Yeah.
Because you've given over.
Well, there's a lot of similarities. They went into Crimea. They went into there and nobody did anything.
Yeah.
And so Putin said, what the heck, we're going to take the rest of the nation. And we can get all political, the reason he decided to move when he did, but this is how it happened. And back in the day of Hitler, a lot of nations, including the United States, sat around and watched it. Actually sent armory over, that would have fought against the free world at that time, just for the sake of money and lining pockets and stuff. I'm not saying they're bad. It happens all over the world. It's just the way of the world. But I say it started back then. Russia going into that one area, took it without any outside help, for Ukraine not having any outside help. So what did it decide to do? Let's go in and take the rest of it. Yeah. And what it is Ukraine just wasn't going to stand for it, and the United States wasn't going to stand for it. But the people forget, and we're easily, because we're a free country, there's all kinds of trolls and everything else that are convincing everybody, dividing us, and they're doing a great job at what they do, those evil bastards, but they're doing a great job. And they're wrecking your free world's going to go out the window if we don't make a stand.
And so our Canada, I was just reading in the news yesterday, has just sent via truck to the, I think that they're going by air transit. So the big cargo planes, sending 50 armored personnel carrier.
Well, good.
Yeah.
We need to supply them whatever we can.
I think, Canada's not the biggest country, and we don't have a lot in our
have a
budget. We don't even
budget.
make our 2% for NATO, but it was good to see what we are sending besides shells and what have you. There's these things that Canada is making.
Yeah.
So it's
and we'll be there to be peacemakers if that's what's needed. But at this particular time, showing the peace sign to an aggressor is just nonsense.
No, there's no peace until there is no war. And
then we have down. China waiting for all the weaknesses,
trying to see who is going to prevail.
Yeah. Yeah. And right now in Havana, as you said, there's a nuclear sub, Russian nuclear sub, and other ships that were off the coast of Florida, and now they're in Havana, and they're flexing their muscle there.
Do you remember the Cuban Missile Crisis?
I do.
When this would have been met with a blockade of American vessels who said, you will not pass this line.
Yeah.
So what's different now? Are we thinking we're more civilized? And
truth of the matter is, you can get past that line in a blink.
I don't know. I sort of think if the U.S. wants to have a blockade, you will not pass.
Oh, yeah. But again, I'm wondering how much the resources. I mean, they've got a big presence over in the China Sea there.
Yeah, the whole Fifth Fleet or something.
And they have a big presence in like the Black Sea and all in those areas. They have an aggressor, Iran, who wants them dead. And so there's a lot going on in the world.
So when we think of D-Day, which is Deliverance Day, who's being delivered, and was it worth the price when we look at the conflict that's currently underway in the world, not just Ukraine, but the conflicts with China, who's threatening Taiwan, the conflict with Palestinians, Hamas specifically, terrorizing Israel. And it goes on, and those are just a few. And what about the Houthis launching attacks on U.S. cargo ships in the Mediterranean? Yeah. So it's all over the place.
It is all over the place. It's the way of man, unfortunately. And, as you said about France, I mean, do you like French wine? Because one of the liberating things is Deliverance Day allows us to get French cuisine and a whole ally nation over there liberated. Italy, again, another one. All of these countries that were liberated, remember, it started with one. And it just kept moving. He was going to take over the entire world, including England. And just like Putin, Hitler sent missiles constantly over into
the V1s and
England.
V2s.
Yeah, over into England, weakening their spirit. That's what that does.
And
not caring who they kill.
The salvos come in different form now that may be propaganda, it may be misleading news, it may be, as I've always argued, when your congressmen and senators, when your parliamentarians use the language of Pravda or Russia Today, the Russian news services, then there's something wrong. They've already won. When you speak like they speak, use their arguments, then you have brought the war right to us.
Well, we've seen all kinds within the political world, in Canada and the United States, around the world. People will sell out their country for the sake of profit and power.
Yeah.
They will sell out their country. And unfortunately, the days of Napoleon or something when he was in the front lines with his troops, okay, you had skin in the game. Mm-hmm. Now they don't. They just, Putin throws young people, hires them from other countries and throws them in the front lines. The other countries couldn't care less because they're run by evil people too. So, what do we got? Evil.
Yes, we do. There are Canadians serving in the volunteer. The International Foreign Legion is made up of some Canadians, some Americans, other countries. They've all said, we have been trained by our countries, but our country is not sending soldiers. We will go individually. So there is some desire to stop Russia already on an international level.
Well, and there could be a couple of reasons. The noble reason is it's a noble cause. The not so noble reason is you get danger pay. You're making some money and you're away. You get away from the wife and kids for a while.
I am not sure about that. I am sure that the world has changed a lot since 1944, and it's the 80th anniversary. Biden went to the cemetery that Trump refused to go to when he was president.
Well, Trump called them losers.
Losers. How do you say that to people who served and given it all? The Jim and Terry Show celebrating D-Day. Canada is its effort in Italy and landing on the beaches. Looking back, was it worth it? I think so.
Well, yeah. I can't imagine what the world would look like now. I'll tell you this, we'd be sending our crops to Germany.
And in this case, to bring it up to date, to Russia.
Yeah. Bring it up to date, send the crops to Russia.
With no love.
No love.
Bye-bye for now.
Russia.